A recent MarketWatch article surveyed Americans on how they're feeling about the economy and their personal financial situation. What they discovered is 48.6% of Americans consider themselves to be broke, and 66.2% feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. In a high inflation market environment and our country's total household debt topping $17 trillion, it is reasonable to see how people are feeling insecure, discouraged, and uncertain with their financial circumstance. Although an emergency fund is a household essential in all scenarios, it might be a vital strategy for Americans in this season. So what is an emergency fund? How much emergency fund do I need? What are emergency funds intended for? Let's dig in. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau defines an emergency fund like this. An emergency fund is a cash reserve that's specifically set aside for unplanned expenses or financial emergencies. Some common examples include car repairs, home repairs, medical bills, or a loss of income. In general, emergency savings can be used for large or small unplanned bills or payments that are not part of your routine monthly expense or spending. A date night in downtown Saratoga, a trip to Florida to see a friend, or a quick latte may be an unplanned expense, but they do not fall into the emergency fund category. As mentioned earlier, these expenses are unexpected, urgent, not routine, but essential. A leaky roof cannot wait around for you to save up to pay for it, nor can a vehicle that's no longer running. Emergency financial situations are stressful to begin with. It only adds stress to the situation to arrive in that circumstance without the funds to rectify it. A general rule of thumb for saving up emergency funds is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This will vary from person to person, family to family, depending on how many people the budget is supporting and how costly your essential living expenses are. For a single person spending, let's say, $2,500 a month and renting, $7,500 to $15,000 may feel more than adequate for their certain lifestyle. For a couple with only one spouse working and multiple children, spending $5,000 a month on living expenses, the 3-month calculation of $15,000 in emergency funds may feel light if they want to account for the loss of income in a tough season. Each family will need to decide what sort of emergency fund would allow them to account for 1, 2, or 3 financial emergencies happening in a season. Some of us may already have quite a bit of cash stored up for a rainy day, while for others, this may seem like a daunting task. Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. If you haven't started to save up for an emergency fund, don't fret. The best time to start is today. So, when funding an emergency fund, choose a strategy that'll make sure you're keeping the emergency fund funded up to the desired level and outcome, as well as creating boundaries to not spend those funds for non-emergency expenses. It may be wise to consider an outside high-yield savings account that is FDIC insured up to $250,000, easy to funnel funds directly from your paycheck or personal checking, and being able to have the funds accessible to bring to your checking account within 1 to 2 days for said emergencies. The current high-yield saving interest rates are providing significantly higher interest rates, giving you the ability to grow your emergency fund when you compare it to a traditional checking account. If 3 to 6 months of expenses feels daunting to you, take this one step at a time. Save up that first $1,000 and keep the savings coming week by week, month by month. If you happen to have a season where you have a windfall of income, such as an unexpected tax return, a surplus, or a bonus, these are great ways to boost your emergency fund more quickly without disturbing your monthly budget. We all have unique financial situations and circumstances, so it may be a good idea to reach out to your financial advisor to ask them how to best build out your emergency fund in this upcoming season. A wise investor knows how to play offense and defense. Start saving for your emergency fund today. We look forward to connecting with you. Thanks.